It starts here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I've most probably have met everyone here today, but just in case, I'm Nigel, Scarlet's very proud father, and this is Debbie, Scarlet's obviously very proud mum. This speech has been written by me, but it represents both of us. However, as per usual, unless her indoors gives it the green light, nothing happens. So ultimately, what I'm about to say has been rubber stamped.
It's all clean.
So I can't get in trouble. It is tradition that the father of the bride has the honour of the first speech, and although it is an honour, over the past year it has given me one or two sleepless nights, knowing that I will have the full attention of everyone and an opportunity to say something meaningful, sincere and succinct. Or as Scarlet requested, Dad, you're not a comedian or a joker, keep it short and to the point. Done me in straight away, actually, isn't it? However, after many years of living in a home of 3 women and 1 bloke, this is an opportunity not to be missed. I suspected that this day may test my usual desire to stay cool, calm and collected. My suspicions came to the surface this morning the moment I saw Scarlet in her wedding dress for the very first time. I felt pretty emotional, so proud and slightly overcome. My beautiful little girl had reduced me to joyful tears. So I've got my fingers crossed that I can actually get through this. I want to share with you today a few memories I have of Scarlet, but before I do that, I would like to welcome all Gareth's family and friends, but especially his father Chris. It all opened up for you.
Yes.
It's a bit of an in-joke, that one. And Shirley, and I want to congratulate you both for producing a very nice lad. I would also like to thank everyone here for joining us today to celebrate the marriage of Scarlet and Gareth. I really do hope that you've enjoyed your afternoon so far and that we go on to have a great evening together. At this point, I would also mention 2 very special people in Scarlet's life that sadly can't be with us today. That was Nanny with the dogs and Nanny Ed. They would both have been very proud to witness this day and definitely would have shed an emotional tear with us. But I guarantee they are looking down upon us right now with big smiles and sending huge amounts of love and affection to the pair of you. We have all lost loved ones in our time. So before I continue, I would like to propose a toast. However, for your comfort, I would like you to remain seated, but raise your glasses to absent loved ones. Where was I? I need to say thank you to Father Tom for conducting the ceremony. Dave buggered off out, hasn't it, somewhere, didn't he? And for all those responsible for preparing St Margaret's for this wedding. The church looked truly spectacular and beautiful, and I actually believe that I died and gone to heaven when I walked in there. However, I quickly realised that there's no way I'm going there. Also, a huge thank you to everyone at Whitwood's for getting this place looking like a scene from a fairy tale when we walked in. It was absolutely stunning. But, and Scarlet and Gareth, thanks for the amount of time, effort and attention that you have put into creating a fabulous day for us all to enjoy. It's already been one of the best days of my life, and we're only halfway through, so it's been a very special wedding for me, pretty obvious. But your mum and I have really appreciated the traditional sequence of events that have led up to this day. Firstly, I personally appreciated that Gareth came to tell me that he was going to ask Scarlet to marry him, and that he wanted my blessing. Before I go any further, I just want to tell that story, really. We all know that Gareth can be a very competitive person. I wouldn't say he likes to win at all costs, but he does like to win. One evening last summer, we were playing golf at Mid Sussex Golf Club. We were having a really close match, when suddenly, at the last hole, he gave me a 2-foot putt. And I was obviously delighted with my win. At this time in the evening, with the light fading fast, we walked straight from the 18th green to the car park to put the golf clubs in the back of the car. I was still feeling warm and lovely from my glorious victory. When Gareth turned to me and said, "I'm going to ask Scarlet to marry me, is that okay?" Well, of course, in that vulnerable moment, I said yes. Over the next hour, we stood in the car park in more or less complete darkness, discussing the wonderful times they have already had together and the wonderful times to come. I drove home that evening realising that Gareth had actually won the game he was playing. But we were both happy. I also thought how excited Debbie would be with this fantastic news. I was greeted at home with, "What time do you call this?" "And your dinner is in the dog." Needless to say, by the time I finished running through the events of the evening, she was jumping for joy, pouring me a glass of Sauvignon Blanc and knocking me up a cheese sandwich. However, she still didn't believe that Gareth had actually given me a 2-foot putt. It wasn't long after that evening that photographs appeared on our family WhatsApp group showing the moments that Gareth was proposing to Scarlet. The photos showed Scarlet and Gareth in the middle of London Bridge. Apparently, it's Scarlet's favourite bridge. Unbelievable. These photos were taken during rush hour, and they had romantically stopped a commuter and asked them to take photos of the happy couple. Seriously, I've known Gareth for about 8 years, and I know him to be friendly, loving, caring, entertaining, creative, hard-working and successful. But most of all, he's a good man. And a man that our family, and especially Debbie and I, have grown to love. So a big warm welcome to our family, Gareth. Because of Gareth's Welsh descendancy, I try to learn to say that in a Welsh accent. However, I kept on sounding like a waiter from an Indian restaurant, so I thought I'd curtail that one. Now, as I mentioned, I want to share a couple of memories with you of Scarlet. The first memory is most probably the biggest, most emotional moment of my life. That moment you were born. Your mum was exhausted, flaked out and laying there shattered from being in labour for well over 30 hours. And between us, your nanny Jackie and I dressed and fed you for the very first time of your life. Thank God nanny Jackie was there, as I was still in a state of shock and drying my tears from the emotional wreck I turned into as you popped out. I've known Scarlet for nearly 26 years. Do the maths. The first 2 days were the happiest and most joyous and proudest days of my life. Showing my daughter off to friends and family was fantastic. The next 2 years were dreadful. Apart from the few nights that her grandparents came to mine and Deb's rescue and babysat for us, she basically cried and screamed the house down 24/7. Our efforts to get a night's sleep were always not turned into nightmares. It was hell. Fortunately, as soon as Scarlet's younger sister, Coral, arrived, it was like giving Scarlet what she had always wanted, and the crying stopped instantly. Lots of my early memories with Scarlet include driving her and her sister to school or different friends' houses, and while they were in the car, subjecting them all to my tastes in music. And repeating the same CDs over and over again. There would be a playlist of Queen's greatest hits, Take That and Robbie Williams, Frank Sinatra, and the soundtrack of one of our favourite films, Pulp Fiction. At this point, I was going to sing There Was a Teenage Wedding and do all that, but I'm so shit at it. I've already mentioned Nanny with the dogs. She was actually Debbie's nan. But we used to take Scarlet and Coral to see her and Rocky and Fudge most Sunday afternoons. We always enjoyed a chat about Nanny's life in London when she was growing up, while we were drinking her tea, eating her biscuits, and I think Scarlet preferred cheese on toast. I would also like to mention the influence that Nanny Ed and Grandad Fred had on Scarlet. They spent many hours with her teaching her how to read and write, how to play cards like 7 up, 7 down. And Nanny Ed taught Scarlet how to cross roads properly, while getting her to go to the shops for her. I also think that Nanny Ed was responsible for Scarlet's sense of humour. Poems like, the boy stood on the burning deck, picking his nose like mad. He rolled them into little balls and threw them at his dad. Bloody unbelievable. And also, Mummy, I don't want to go to Australia. Shut up and keep swimming. She learned her left from her right from Grandad John while on holiday in Portugal. Marching from the marina in Villamora to our apartment, they would sing, she had a good job for 25 bob, but she left. Scarlet's first job while she was at school was working for Grandad John in one of his shops on the pier. This was her first lesson in profit and loss and their introduction to business. So thanks for that, John, and a good job done. I know that Scarlet has had mixed feelings about her education and schooling, but her feelings regarding one class at school was very clear: PE. Any activity that involved Scarlet getting a sweaty top lip was a no-no. She hated it, always getting her mum to write her sick notes to avoid PE at all costs. However, by her finishing her schooling, and obtaining a Bachelor of Arts degree in Accounting and Finance gave me and her mum one of the proudest days of our lives. We are truly blessed to have such an intelligent, loving, caring and beautiful daughter, and we both love you so very much. Who's got 12 minutes? I'd like to finish by giving some marriage advice, actually. This will be my first and only time. You can't always like each other, but respect, trust and love each other and you'll get through everything. So please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the bride and bridegroom. I'll give you Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Firstly, I would like to thank the bride's father, Nigel, for his kind remarks and good wishes and helping us put on such a wonderful day today. I must say, I think he's been more excited than probably me and Scarlet over the last few months. And I know that Scarlet would have loved every second of hearing all your thoughts and memories about her growing up and how close your relationship is. Before I move on, you still got the golf. When we proposed, I can't really remember it getting down the 18th. I think on the first hole I gave that one up. You know, I didn't really want to play that day, and we actually had a third member in the team that stuck with us to the 16th hole, and I couldn't get rid of that guy quick enough. But he did. He left us, and I kind of plucked up the courage. And do you know what? It is great. So thank you very much for your blessing as well. On behalf of Scarlet and myself, I would like to welcome you all to our wedding. The fact that you're in this room means that you're among the most loved and cared for people in our lives. To be surrounded by our closest friends and family means so much to both of us, and we both feel so lucky to have you all here with us today to make our day so special. All your kind messages of support this morning were greatly appreciated. So first of all, I'd like to raise a toast to everyone here today. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers, everybody.
Unfortunately, as Nigel touched upon earlier, not all of our family can be here today. In particular, Scarlett's nanny Ed, my granddad, and Nan and Tony. Despite not being in the room today,
Come on, mate.
we know they're in our thoughts, and I think we'll agree that whether they've really pulled it out today. So. That's the hard bit. I think we'll agree with me so far. It's been an amazing day. It hasn't happened by chance. I can't emphasise how much effort Scarlet has put in over the last 15 months in arranging every last detail to make today run so smoothly. She's been immense in organising everything, and so much credit should go to her today. Although I'm sure she'll be quick to point out that she's received a huge amount of support from family and friends along the way. In particular, Debbie, Coral, Kerry and Terry Marie, and I know she would like to thank you as well. We would like to both say thank you, a special thank you to Scarlett's parents for their generous financial contribution towards today, and also to my parents and also Fred. Without you guys